Hey, on a previous episode of Griot's Garage Treasures, we saw some really exotic cars here.
You know, you don't find them any rarer than this Porsche and that McLaren. I mean, what else how can you top that?
Oh, you can't, but I tell you what, Richard Griot has got some real exotic cars right back here. Does Michael Schumacher mean anything to you? We got all that and more coming up on Griot's Garage Treasures.
Show me.
Welcome to Griot's Garage. Boy, we are back here in Richard Griot's, what I would call inner sanctum.
It is, and we just happened to find the man right here. Richard, good to see you.
Hey, Richard.
Nice to see you, Sam. Dave,
hey,
welcome.
It's nice to be here.
Garage.
I tell you what, you have an incredible collection here, and my eye is catching something over there that is absolutely incredible. I'm gone.
Call security, somebody.
There you go. Well, you know, what year is this Suburban? This is pretty.
It's a 1972 C20. So it's a two-wheel drive.
Because you've updated it. That's a fuel-injected small block?
It is. Yeah. It is. We wanted to make sure it started. Ran on 87 octane, which is tough.
Well, see, you've upgraded the brakes and everything. So tell me, you know, you've got this vehicle. It's got a full floating axle in the back, which is a really big differential. You got the big brakes. These things were used by power companies and anything else. What was your purpose for this thing?
Late night eBay purchase on a couple beers. Had this dream of restoring one of these, packing my 4 children in it, and going off to Yosemite. So that's what we ended up doing, going into Canada, Glacier, Grand Tetons, Yosemite, Yellowstone. I'm
thinking about all that driving. The seats in these things were really uncomfortable.
Well, you'll see that it's got seats out of a modern Suburban, year 2000. I located some Camaro houndstooth, the orange houndstooth, and then I took a little center console out of a 68 Blazer because I needed a cup holder, and it just so happens that the center there fits a iPhone perfectly.
This is the car I wanted to see. I spotted it right over here. Absolutely beautiful. This is a Ferrari Formula One car that Michael Schumacher won his first World Championship with for Ferrari now. This was in 2001, a race. It finished second at Indy, I believe. This car has spent a lot of time in the wind tunnel. Look at all the different fairings here. The wings on the front, in fact, got a little adjustment spot right here for very minute adjustments, and it doesn't take much for it. If you go back a little farther, what we see is on the suspension, all this is carbon fiber, all to make it a lot lighter. You come back a little bit farther, right up in here, you can see those are the ductworks for the radiators where they cool it. And here on the top, this is where they have the camera for the in-car cameras. Come back a little farther here in the engine area. This is a V10, 850 horsepower engine. It's 3.5 liters, and it'll turn about 17,000 RPM. Now right down here, you can see where the exhaust comes out, flows right across the rear suspension. Well, that could be a problem because that's carbon fiber. If it gets too hot, it'll start to soften up. So what they do, they put gold foil around there to help control that heat. And of course, we got the rear wing on it. Up here in the cockpit, though, it's very tight. You don't want a driver flopping around in there because these cars can corner really, really hard. But the steering wheel is a little interesting. This one is what they just put on it for pushing around here in the shop. The real steering wheel, though, is way more complicated than that.
Well, here it is. We kept it away from him because we were afraid he'd run down the street with it. Look at all the buttons, all the gauges here. On the back, this is how you shift it, up, down. This is how you let out the clutch. The difference of the year 2000 Ferrari versus 1975 is there's only an ignition switch here.
Here's a car Richard's got in his collection. This is probably one of the most original 65 Mustang GTs. It's a Shelby 350. It's a real Shelby. You look at this car and it's just gorgeous. Now it's been sort of restored using reconditioned original parts. And if you look at it, you can tell the 65 from the later ones. They had these vents here in the quarter windows back in the sail panel. Those were heavy, so later they were replaced for windows. You look inside, and it's got the 4-speed gearbox. It's got an optional Shelby tack.
That tack was very unique for 1965. in 1966, they just screwed in a normal tack right on top of the dash. And that car had a rear seat delete that saved about 200 pounds for Shelby.
The car is beautiful. It really is pretty. It's the white with the blue stripes. You've all seen that. Here's something that's neat. Again, fiberglass hood. That hood's fiberglass. It's got the 289 high performance, and this has the Cobra High Rise. This is 306 horsepower. These cars were loud, they were fast, they were reliable, they were awesome cars. And here's the tag right here, the genuine tag, Mustang GT350 with the serial number, manufactured by the Shelby American people in California. Awesome car.
You know, McLaren cars have been famous for their Can-Am cars, but they're also famous for their Formula One cars. We're going to show you one right after the break.
With more than 22 years of experience, Griot's Garage is car care for the perfectionist. Whether you're cleaning a daily driver or perfecting the paint on your dream car, Griot's Garage makes a full line of products to suit all your car care needs. From paint and upholstery to wheels and tires, leather and carpet, glass and chrome. Car care liquids made in the USA and backed by our promise. We make it, we teach it, we guarantee it. Have fun in your garage at griotsgarage.com.
Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist, and by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Original Parts Group, world's largest source of GM A-body parts and accessories.
Hey, welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures. And speaking of treasures, folks, this is one right here. This is unusual. This is McLaren Formula One car. Now, they were very popular with building the McLaren Can-Am cars back in the 60s, but they ventured into Formula One in the 70s. This is one of their first efforts. This design started in 1973. This is a 1977 car that Jochen Mass drove. But as you can see, it had pretty much the technology of the day. This was an all monocoque body on it. And you can see here the cockpit was rather small to keep the guy contained in it. It did have a little bit of aero in it, but aero wasn't quite as sophisticated then as it is now.
There's nothing like driving a Formula One car, and I recommend it to everybody because there's nothing like that feeling of getting smacked in the back and feeling that rush of acceleration.
Had a Ford Cosworth engine, the DFV engine in here, and it had a 6-speed Hewland gearbox or transaxle back here in the back. And you can see all the suspension pieces here. It's all welded chrome moly steel.
That car was chassis number 12, and it came in second at the Swedish Grand Prix, fourth at the Spanish Grand Prix, and then fourth, just barely nipping Mario Andretti at Monaco in 1977.
But this car ran, and this style of car ran for about 5.5 years, which is virtually unheard of today for a Formula One car to run past more than 1 year.
What you're looking at here is probably the nicest example you'll find anywhere of a Volkswagen Type 181 in this country. They call it the Thing.
Well, if you bought one of these cars, you really checked your ego at the door because it was the ugliest thing ever made. And I suppose that's why they called it the Thing.
The German military used these in World War II called Kugelwagen, which meant deep bucket seat car, because a lot of them didn't have doors. This is typical military. Top comes off, windshield is hinged, it'll fold down. But this is based on a Type 1 Beetle platform. This is where the fuel tank is and storage, that the spare and stuff too. But this is really pretty in its OD color. Got beautiful bumpers, lots of great trim. And if you look back here, you can see it's got Mexican blanket seat covers, which are perfect. You get your 50 caliber ammo boxes, which have the audio speakers in them. Quick look under the hood, and you can see, really, it's got oil coolers, it's got some polish on it.
I didn't let Sam drive this car because I looked at his dental work, and honestly, if you go 2 miles in this car, you have to check your fillings afterwards, because it is just the roughest ride you'll ever have.
All you have to do to make this the perfect tailgater, put your grill on the tailgate, and make that whole front storage compartment a cooler, and you're in great shape.
You know, we're here with a lot of beautiful cars that are all restored, but it's not often you get a chance to see one that's in the process of being restored.
The first time I saw Ferrari Daytona, I was actually doing schoolwork by a stream in Boulder, Colorado, and I hear this car coming out of the canyon, just wah, 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 going up through the gears. I put down my school book, ran to the side of the road, and saw a Ferrari Daytona just on it, back end down, upshift from second to third gear. I think he did that just for my own good, and it never left me, and I had to have one of those cars, and I chased one forever, and I am restoring it right now.
And part of the restoration right here, you can see the seats are out of it. This seat right here, all supple, just like it was when it was brand new. That's part of that restoration process. The heart of any Ferrari has always been the engine. What we have here in this Daytona is a 12-cylinder engine. This is about 268 cubic inches, develops around 352 horsepower on it. On the inside, you can see they're doing the installation in here, but the body style is absolutely beautiful.
When it comes to Ferraris, Davey thinks he's got the market cornered on him, but when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you a great story about this big black beauty. Stick around.
With more than 22 years of experience, Griot's Garage is car care for the perfectionist. Whether you're cleaning a daily driver or perfecting the paint on your dream car, Griot's Garage makes a full line of products to suit all your car care needs. From paint and upholstery to wheels and tires, leather and carpet, glass and chrome. Car care liquids made in the USA and backed by our promise. We make it, we teach it, we guarantee it. Have fun in your garage at griotsgarage.com.
An awesome Ferrari right here. This is a 1993 Ferrari 512 TR. You know, in 1984, they started building the Testarossa. Really sexy, wide car, lots of, grill work on the side, grill work on the back. This was an evolutionary car. The TR was more horsepower, 428 horsepower, I believe. The engine was lowered, had bigger brakes, better suspension, and they cleaned up the outside. The exterior, the back was a little bit more clean and aero looking. Great car. And this car would really go fast. I mean, 4.9, 0 to 60 times, 190 miles an hour. This was a fast car. But the interesting story on this car is the gentleman that bought it wanted a black one. Production ended. They didn't have any more black ones. They had red ones. So this car started its life as red, and he decided, I'll just have it painted black. Well, guess what? He didn't just take it to the local collision center. This car went to Ferrari in Italy, and Ferrari changed the color from red to black. Pretty interesting story when you think about where this car had to go and come back to.
When young people, guys and girls, want to become a race driver, they'll usually start out running quarter midgets or go-karts or whatever. And in road racing, a lot of them will do the same thing. Eventually, they'll want to get to the top echelons, and especially they want to try to reach Formula One. But before they get there, what they usually have to do is get up through Formula 2. That's what we have right here. This is a Formula 2 racer. The design is by Robin Hurd, and he's the guy that developed a lot of race cars, Can-Am cars, Formula cars, Indy cars. And this is the one that he designed. This is started in '67 and '68. McLaren built these, and they were all monocoque. And what that is they literally had 4 bulkheads in it, and they wrapped aluminum around it and fastened it and made a very stiff, light chassis. On each side, it has fuel tanks, 10 gallons on each side. They're in a fuel bladder. And then behind the seat here is another bladder that's got about 5 gallons in it. So the driver's surrounded by fuel. They built about 25 of these cars. They ran all over Europe and South America, in Australia, New Zealand, and Asia. So they're a very popular car, and they are a good training car. They had a 1.6-liter engine in the back, had a 5-speed Hewland transaxle in the back.
Spend some time looking at the exhaust of this car, and you'll see that air pipe was sand bent, and it all is just flowing like a bunch of snakes out to the rear. It was done to hug the body, so minimum airflow again, and it's just a gorgeous piece of art to look at.
And very simple, all fully adjustable. Taught you how to race and got you prepared for that next level. The thing it didn't have, though, is not much in aerodynamics.
The McLaren M4A was really the end of an era. It's the end of the mechanical grip Formula One cars and Formula 2 cars. For 1968, they started sprouting wings and airfoils of all sorts of aerodynamic magnitude. And this is really the end of something that was really a special time in motor racing, which was very clean and simple cars.
Look at this collection of Porsches. If you're a Porsche lover or a Porsche driver, this will make you eat your heart out. These things are gorgeous. These 2 cars right here, these are actually factory colors, and they're one-off, very special cars. So they're very unique for a collector. Now I've got a couple of Porsches down here. You got this white one, and you got this purple one. I guess that's kind of a plum or a grape color. Both gorgeous cars. This is a 2.4 liter.
So for 1973, they had outrageous colors in the catalog. The purple one is called Royal Purple, extremely rare color, extremely rare with sport seats and a sunroof. And you go down the street and people are chasing after you, wanting to lick the exhaust pipe.
Now this car here, this white one, it's got a lightened interior. It's got a special Bilstein front suspension. And of course, this has got a 2.7 liter engine in it, more horsepower, the car's a little lighter, better suspension. So this car will really go down the road. Of course, it's got the whale tail that didn't have.
No, Sam, on the orange car, that is called a whale tail. On the white one, which is a 73 Carrera RS, that's called the ducktail.
And you know, if you really want to go out and have some fun driving one of these cars, this would be the one, probably the most valuable in the collection.
You know, Ferrari's had a lot of driving legends in their stable. Well, one coming up next is a real legend. You're going to want to see it.
Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist. And by Low Car Performance Products, quality, plain and simple. And by Steel Rubber Products, quality restoration rubber parts.
Hey, welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures, and I'll tell you what, we are having fun here in Griot's car collection. What we have here, folks, this is rare. This is 1975 Ferrari 312T. This is a car the three-time world champion Nicki Lauda won the 1975 championship in, under restoration right now, so we get to see the inside of what this Formula One car looked like. This design won about 27 races, 4 constructors championships, and 3 world champions. So it was a very successful design. Over here, they have all the parts that they've taken off here. They keep it all cataloged, check everything out. This right here is what we call the chassis or the tub. This is a monocoque chassis. There's not much there. That's because the engine and transmission all are back here. That's a 12-cylinder flat engine, or a boxer engine as they call it. It's 3 liter, and it's a stressed member of the car. Ferrari is interesting. They do all their stuff in-house. They don't take components from other manufacturers.
This is the accelerator pedal, cast from magnesium. Why from magnesium? It was a lot lighter than doing it from steel or aluminum. Same with the shift box. Look how intricate this casting is. And it even has a lockout for reverse. So in a hefty race, when they were going from first into second, dropping back down to first and then jamming it up, you can see how reverse might get selected. So that's what that is for. This is on the outside of that transverse gearbox, upside down. This is a little cover plate. Look at that. Ferrari even cast their own name in it.
Right here, this is the front casting where you would mount all the front suspension on there. You see, it's pretty intricate, well designed, and they machine it out. Believe me, they don't leave anything to chance. They do things right down to the nth degree.
This is such a pretty 2-door hardtop. This is a 59 Buick Invicta. The top of the line car was the Electra 225. The poor man's car was the LeSabre. This was a middle of the road, called it Invicta. This car was gorgeous. If you look at a 58 Buick, then you look at the front of this, they just pulled up the tops of the fenders. It had a real angry face on it. Real aggressive car.
I was standing around a 1960 Buick Invicta, and it was not quite the 59. And the guy that was, standing next to me, I was telling him, I really love the 59 because it had the big gauges, it had the angrier look up front, and just a cleaner looking car altogether.
Powered by a big 445 foot-pounds of torque, 401 cubic inch nail head, Dynaflow with a variable pitch stators in the torque converter.
And he points to his t-shirt like this, and it says 1959 Buick Invicta Best of Show, and it had a picture of this car on it.
Gorgeous 2-door hardtop bubble top. A lot of metal here. This is a big door. This is the days of the wraparound windshield. You really had to watch your kneecaps getting in and out of those. It's gorgeous.
So I said, that's exactly like that. Is your car for sale? And he goes, matter of fact, it is. And about 2 weeks later, I had that black and white Invicta in my garage.
But this quarter panel is longer than most cars today. Actually seam the stainless spears trim here. And you come back, and of course, 59, you all know 59 Chevrolet. You know this was the era of fins, 28,000 original mile car. This is really great for a collection.
Griot's Garage wants you to have fun in your garage. Now here's your car care tip of the week with Richard Griot.
This week, to make sure that you have fun in your garage, we're going to talk about Griot's Garage Interior Cleaner, the perfect product to clean all your interior surfaces. Griot's Garage Interior Cleaner is a unique product designed never to spot, fade, or remove dyes when cleaning. While our interior cleaner is an easy spray-on wipe-off product on places like dashboards, do not confuse it with a simple dressing. Interior cleaner tackles real dirt, oil, and stains. When cleaning, spray the cleaner directly onto your towel or cleaning pad, not the surface, or use pre-saturated interior cleaner wipes. This prevents overspray and controls the product for perfect application. Try interior cleaner with a microfiber interior cloth for use on headliners. Our microfiber cleaning pads remove stubborn stains from textured surfaces like scuff marks on a door panel's plastic surfaces. Or try our premium disposable interior towels. These towels are ideal for the harsh cleaning needs of your vehicle's interior surface. Plus, they are incredibly durable and are made without any glues or binders that can break down when saturated. Interior cleaner penetrates dirt and grime to clean cloth and carpeted surfaces too, including floors, seats, or floor mats. Interior cleaner is also safe to use on your finest leather surfaces. But don't just leave interior cleaner in the garage. Bring it inside so you can have fun in your house.
Yeah, this guy's got the nicest office you'll ever find.
Man, can't believe it.
Richard, we're done. We're out of time. Thanks for watching and letting us look at that great collection.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, man. I can't, holy mackerel. I can't believe you have this in your collection. You didn't say anything about that. Oh man, folks, you know what this is? This is Dan Gurney's Mark I Eagle. This is a Formula One car that he built here in the U.S. And you can tell he has these distinct nose up here with the Eagle on here. This one had a 2.7 liter Coventry Climax engine in it, transaxle. And if you notice, this was what they call a monocoque chassis. The whole thing, the engine, transmission, everything was bolted into it, as well as the suspension was bolted to it. I tell you what, it is great to see an American Formula One car.
Take it with you, Davey. We're out of time.
We're out of time? Oh, man, I knew it. Time passes too fast.
We'll put it in the trailer, take it home. There's nothing to it.
I would do that, but I'm afraid that Richard might have something to say about that. Not going anywhere, boys. Anyway,
Thanks,
Richard,
man.
Thank you so much for letting us have fun in your garage. Thank you.
It's always fun to be in the garage, but we're out of time.
All right, we'll see you again next time here at Griot's Garage Treasures.
See ya.
And a treasure it was, too.
Hey.